Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because, well, we are looking at something deeply moving. Today, we're actually stepping away from the hard data and technical frameworks to examine something a lot more universal, but honestly, equally complex: the anatomy of a promise. So, let's dive right into this. We're going to explore this beautiful narrative from our source material about two people, Rakesh and Lourdes. We'll be breaking down their journey to really understand how true love isn't just about the, serendipity of meeting someone. It's about the profound way that meeting can change the entire trajectory of your life forever. It's a story of an enduring connection that even time and vast physical distances literally couldn't pull apart. Right out of the gate, our source material drops this profound idea. Sometimes love isn't just about meeting, it's about changing someone's life forever. We so often romanticize the meet cute, that instant spark, the very first hello. But this story, it actually asks us to reframe our whole understanding of love. It puts forward the idea that a true connection is fundamentally transformative. When Rakesh and Lourdes cross paths, it's not just a fleeting moment, it's the beginning of a permanent alteration of their lives. And that is the true heart of the story we'll be following today. All right, Section 1, A Beautiful Evening. The First Meeting. Picture this: the beach, a gorgeous sunset, and a total chance encounter. Rakesh is sitting entirely alone by the ocean, quietly watching the sun dip below the horizon. The setting itself is peaceful, maybe even a bit solitary. Then, out of nowhere, his gaze falls upon a girl. Her name is Lourdes. She's described as having this soft smile, her hair blowing gently in the ocean wind, and her eyes just full of dreams. It's a highly cinematic introduction, right? It beautifully contrasts Rakesh's quiet observation of the ending day with Lourdes' vibrant, dream-filled arrival. And then, she breaks the silence. Lourdes looks over and asks a remarkably simple question: isn't this sunset beautiful? So the absolutely crucial point here is how minimal the interaction actually needs to be when a true connection is sparked. Rakesh doesn't even have a grand, sweeping reply. Our source notes that he was simply captivated, just staring at her. On that particular day, literally only a few words were spoken between them, but their hearts recognized each other instantly. That simple shared observation of the sunset was the catalyst for the whole shebang. Moving on to Section 2, Recognizing Hearts, where the love begins. So things progress pretty quickly and beautifully from there, starting with that first shared sunset. Their connection evolved into daily meetings. They took long walks on the beach, got completely soaked in the rain together, and shared moments of pure, unadulterated joy. Just laughing for absolutely no reason at all. They're building a shared history here, a foundation of memories rooted in simple, everyday magic. They are just completely present with one another. But of course, an explainer on love wouldn't be complete without the introduction of vulnerability, right? Amidst all this perfect, carefree romance, Lourdes introduces a sudden emotional weight. She asks a really poignant question: what if I go far away from you one day? Notice how this hypothetical question completely shifts the tone. It brings in that fear of loss, that anxiety of separation that pretty much always accompanies a deep emotional attachment. She is testing the strength of their foundation.
And Rakesh's response? It's honestly foundational to this entire narrative. He smiles at her and says, distances only exist in physical paths, not in hearts. I really want you to absorb that for a second. He's drawing a hard line between geography and emotional reality. He reassures her that physical separation has absolutely zero jurisdiction over a true emotional bond. In that beautiful moment, Lourdes teared up and simply held his hand. It was exactly the reassurance she needed, a philosophical anchor that, as we'll see, would very soon be tested by reality.
Section 3, Distances and Promises, the Separation. Talk about a stark contrast. On one hand, we have the joy of the past we just discussed, the beach walks, the rain, the laughter. But on the other side, we have the crushing reality of the heavy present. Lourdes actually has to move to another country with her family. Now, instead of laughing on the beach, they're standing in complete, devastating silence at an airport terminal. The vibrant communication they once shared has been totally replaced by unspoken tears. The physical distance Rakesh said didn't matter in the heart, well, it's now standing right in front of them, demanding to be reckoned with. Standing right there in the terminal, Lourdes makes a desperate plea. She says, "Promise me, no matter the distance, you will never forget me." This isn't just a casual request. It's a plea for a lifeline.
She needs to know that the philosophy Rakesh shared earlier wasn't just empty words to make her feel better. She needs a vow that's strong enough to survive the thousands of miles that are literally about to separate them. So how does Rakesh seal this vow? His actions are incredibly deliberate and deeply symbolic. Step 1. He draws a small heart on her hand, a physical gesture to represent the emotional bond. Step 2. He promises to remember her at every sunrise. And Step 3. He promises to remember her at every sunset. Think about that. He ties his memory of her to the very cycle of the earth, ensuring that as long as the sun rises and sets, his promise remains active. And with that vow officially made, her plane departs, and Rakesh's tears finally begin to fall.
Let's just pause for a second here. What do you think? Can distance actually erase a promise made from the heart? When life intervenes, when time passes, when geography separates us, does the physical reality eventually erode the emotional truth? Keep that question in the back of your mind, because the narrative is about to jump forward in time to give us the answer.
Section 4. The same beach, forever together. 1 year later.
Okay, boom. It is exactly 1 year later. We're back at the exact same beach, under the exact same beautiful sunset. But this time, Rakesh is standing there completely alone. What this beautifully illustrates is his absolutely unwavering dedication. He is faithfully keeping his sunset promise. The cycle of the earth continued, and so did his memory of her, exactly as he vowed at that airport terminal.
And then, the moment we've all been waiting for, the quiet of the sunset is suddenly broken by a voice from behind him. A voice saying, "I told you, I would definitely come back." No way, right? It's the ultimate surprise. While Rakesh was keeping his promise to remember, Lourdes was fulfilling her own unspoken vow to return. The sheer emotional weight of those words instantly bridges the gap of the entire year they spent apart.
He turns around and you guessed it, Lourdes is standing right there. The physical distance has finally been closed. They fall into this massive, tearful embrace, and I absolutely love this poetic detail from the source material. It notes that on that day, even the crashing ocean waves seem to offer a blessing to their enduring love. The very environment that witnessed their first meeting is now witnessing their triumphant reunion. The promise survived the distance.
Which brings us to the core message, the real takeaway of this whole explainer. True love never ends. If the heart is pure and the promise is true, it can practically force destiny to reunite two lovers. This narrative leaves us with a really profound reflection, challenging us to view love not just as some fleeting emotion, but as a deliberate commitment, a promise capped across time and space. So what should you take away from this? Well, maybe it's the idea that our intentions, when pure enough, have the actual power to shape our reality. Think about it. Think about the promises you've made and the sunsets you've shared. Could your true promises shape your destiny too? Thank you so much for joining me today as we explored the story of Rakesh and Lourdes, and I will see you on the next explainer.